It's been a pretty calm and quiet back half of the week here. Not a whole lot going on, but we are seeing green in the charts, which is a great sign. ADA closed on a great note yesterday. We started off green again today. And it's a question of, will this continue with something very important taking place this morning? I want to talk about the expectations for this because it's very different than what we've been seeing as of late. And there's been a couple interesting things that have set up during this time that I think people need to be aware of. So again, if you guys haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So yesterday, we actually closed up 3% in terms of ADA. Kind of a modest day. No, not too many people get excited about 3%, but again, we're continuing to show a very distinct trend here, and that's support around these ranges. We're building that inverse head and shoulders like we talked about yesterday. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds in that here, but we're in a comfortable spot right now. And it's a question of, with our CPI report coming this morning, are we going to get any surprises? I will say it's very nice to see BTC broken out of this big bear pennant that was building. Again, we need to watch and see if this is a bit of a fake out like we saw back here on Tuesday, October 21st. You guys remember, we got a very exciting surge to the upside and then a rejection right back down. We're kind of at the tip of this, so this could be the start of a very distinct trend change here. We see Ethereum sitting right at the tip of its its bear pennant as well. So we have some pretty important moves today to make in crypto. And it's a question of, are we going to follow these couple days here, or are we going to change and flip completely? I will say institutional money isn't really giving us any hints here. We saw $20 million worth of BTC added over the last 24 hours by institutional players. You guys can see BlackRock kind of led the way there at $170 million. $107 million accumulated themselves. And on the Ethereum side, we actually saw some dumping take place. So they're kind of all over the board here. But what we do have coming this morning is actually our CPI report. Now, if you guys remember, our CPI report was supposed to take place last week. It was in fact delayed, and that is coming today at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 Central. So it's going to be about an hour after this video comes out. And the interesting thing about this report is the expectations are very high. They're actually expecting a 0.4% increase in terms of CPI, which I think would be the largest increase of 2025, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the data in front of me. And we're also expecting a core CPI increase of 0.3%. This would actually take, I believe, both over 3% over the rolling 12 months, which isn't something that the market would necessarily like. So this is one of those instances where if we get a report that meets expectations, it might be met with a little bit of negativity in the market, just because, again, it seems like inflation is just, running wild. The market doesn't necessarily like that. And then people start questioning what the Fed is going to do. I don't think this changes anything regarding the Fed meeting, which is taking place next week. Yeah, next week. It seems like they're pretty much entrenched and ready to go when it comes to a rate cut. It seems like the Fed was already, again, voting more heavily on 2 rate cuts still remaining for this year. So jobs data has been the main thing that they've been looking at. But obviously this raises questions nonetheless, and how the market is in fact going to react to this data if it does come in that way. Now, what we have seen across the market, and I want to talk about ADA specifically here, is a big surge in the amount of shorts open. For example, you guys can see, and this doesn't happen very often for ADA, but we're sitting at a place where there's a 13% imbalance to the short side. We've actually seen open interest increase about 4.5% over the last 24 hours alone. And guys, shorts are opening up positions. They're expecting this to be a hot report. They're expecting some sort of drop in the crypto market. Doesn't mean it's going to, but it is giving us potentially a little bit of fuel to the upside. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Did want to note that, again, some of those bigger whales that have had very good track records on some of these movements here, they've opened up some long positions. So maybe that's an indication of what's coming. We know James Wynn opened up short positions, so that's the inverse win, right? So there are some things that could obviously help move us higher. If we get a report that is very, very cool compared to these expectations, I would expect the market to just probably run a little bit wild. We'd probably be seeing some prices that we hadn't seen since back here on Sunday and Monday. Now, there's no guarantees. This isn't financial advice or anything like that, but people just need to be aware that this report, because it's been so quiet for so long and we haven't had much to grab onto, this is something where I think the market does in fact grab onto and run with it, whatever direction that may in fact be. We're still sitting in a range where we're fearful in terms of the fear greed index. Volume is still floating around $155 billion over the last 24 hours. It has quieted down in preparation of it. So it seems like this is going to be a volatile move nonetheless. So that's the expectations. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about what you think is coming down the pipeline. Are we going to beat this? Are we in fact, are we in fact going to come out lower than this? But that's kind of where we're at. I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. My thoughts are that we beat and maybe I'm wrong here, but my thoughts are we slightly beat expectations. There hasn't really been anything on the CPI side that's been indicating it's going to come back super hot. So, but we occasionally get those hot reports out of nowhere. Maybe the CPI report is one of them. We obviously had that hot PPI report once a few months ago. We had that hot jobs report back, I think earlier this year or late last year. But yeah, that's all we got. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.